What's up, my community? If it's your first time, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. In this video, we're going to be talking about board members. Let's get into it. Okay, so let me first start off by saying that I am not a nonprofit consultant. However, I have been connected with some amazing resources who have helped us through our process in the makings of becoming a nonprofit. And the information that I share is based off of our experience in starting up a nonprofit organization and sharing the information that we have learned throughout our process. So when I was thinking about the first topic that I wanted to share for our discussion, I realized that starting talking about board members was a great place to start because the most important part of any structure is its foundation. And your board members are absolutely going to be the foundation of your organization. Now, when I started working with Sharonda Green Christopher of Dreams Global, who was extremely vital in helping me through the process of becoming incorporated as a 501c3, one of the first things that she challenged me with and homework assignment she gave me was to start thinking about the individuals that I wanted to serve on our board. Now, when she gave me this assignment, I had so many questions for many reasons. Number one, I had no idea that we needed a board. I didn't even know what that meant. And it was intimidating because not only was this going to be my first time recruiting individuals to be on a board that I'm going to be serving on, but it was my first time even serving on a board. So the idea of recruiting board members, being a part of a board, and managing and running a board, it was way in over my head. But nevertheless, we did it. We were able to recruit a board, and now through connecting through various resources, we've been able to learn a lot about what it means to manage a board. And one resource that I have found truly valuable is Tiffany's YouTube channel, Boss on a Budget. Tiffany helps new and small nonprofit organizations to be successful. And on her channel, she drops gems on all kinds of information that will be helpful for you and I to make sure that our nonprofit is successful and viable. So I encourage you to go check her out. Now, there is a whole lot of information about board members, and trying to fit it all in one video, this video would be 5 hours long, I'm sure. But I decided that I would like to share 5 tips that I've learned so far about board members that may be helpful for you if you're just getting started yourself. So let me get started. Number 1, your board of directors are going to be your governing body. Tiffany has a wonderful video out there that goes into depth talking about what is a board member. And I found that video very valuable because honestly, I needed understanding of what exactly is a board member. Like, what are the expectations of a board? And one of the main things that I learned is that it is the governing body for the organization. One extremely important piece of information that I learned is that even though you may be the founder of an organization, if it is a nonprofit 501c3, you are not the owner of that organization. You are a part of the board with the same amount of voting power as everybody else. So my mom and I, where we are the founder and co-founder of the Johnny Leroy Dawkins Jr. Scholarship Fund, we're not the owners. As the governing body, the board of directors helps to set the mission, the vision, the plans, and even the policies that will govern your organization, such as your bylaws. Now, since we have been established for quite some time prior to us actually beginning the process of becoming a 501c3, we had already established a mission. However, when our board of directors came in, they were very helpful in helping us to refine that mission and to make sure that it was relevant. Also, as the governing body, your board of directors are also legally and ethically responsible for making sure that your organization runs according to state law, federal law, and your governing documents or your bylaws, along with ensuring your financial health and viability. So the next thing I'd like to talk about is recruitment. So that was one of the very first things that felt so intimidating for me, was recruiting board members, because I didn't want to feel like I was burdening anyone with the responsibility. I know a lot of people have a lot of things already going on. And so finding individuals who I thought would be excited about being on our board, especially where, of course, another thing me realizing, it's like a volunteer opportunity, because for us, the board members were not going to be paid contributors. And so therefore, I thought it would be very challenging finding individuals who would want to volunteer their time to be a part of our board. But to my surprise, recruitment was not as bad as I thought. Now, obviously, there were individuals that I reached out to who just had too much on their plate and had no capacity. But the board of ladies that we ended up with, I was so grateful for their responses and how excited they were for joining and being a part, and felt honored to be a part of our board. It made me feel so good. Now, keep in mind, as we just spoke about, the board of directors are your governing body. So whenever you are recruiting individuals to be on your board, you want to keep in mind that you try and recruit individuals that you feel confident that they are going to honor your mission and be passionate about that mission, that they are going to be trustworthy to carry out and uphold that mission, and to act in the best interest of the organization, the participants, and the community. It's extremely important that you keep that in mind. And one of the things that Tiffany mentioned in her video is that you want to sit down and write out, what are you looking for in someone that you're going to work with on a board? Because remember, you have to work with these individuals on a consistent basis. So you want to make sure that you're compatible. They're compatible with your organization. And so Tiffany suggested sitting down, writing out the things that you're looking for. Much like, looking for a life partner, you want to make sure that you are recruiting compatible partners that you're going to be working with in your organization. And just like Tiffany mentioned, if you know what you are looking for, then you know where to go to find them. Now, one of the things that I kept in mind as I was thinking about the recruitment of individuals who would serve on our board was the involvement of family members. Now, where obviously my first thought was to start reaching out to every family member I knew that I felt would want to be on our board, I realized that I had to be careful with that, because where you can absolutely have family members serve on your board, you just want to be careful with it, because from a federal standpoint, and even sometimes funders, if you're going to be a grant-funded organization, it can look a little bit iffy if you have a full board of family members. So I dialed it back and kept the recruitment of family members to a minimum. And one of the other things that Tiffany talks about in her video is your board of directors have 3 duties. Outside of their responsibilities, they have a duty of care, a duty of loyalty, and a duty of obedience. And you want to make sure in your recruitment process that you are looking for individuals that you feel comfortable and confident they are going to uphold those duties. The next thing I'd like to talk about is insurance. So where the board of directors, they hold a legal and ethical responsibility to your organization also holds a responsibility to protect the board. Because in any event or any situation where someone may want to take litigation against your organization, you want to make sure that your board of directors are protected by having the appropriate insurance, such as liability insurance and directors and offices or D&O insurance. I learned about this by one of the individuals who ended up serving on our board, and I'm so very glad that I learned about it. Now, there are various companies out there that may provide nonprofit insurance, and the one that we decided to go with was the Hartford, in case you would like to check them out. Now, the next thing I'd like to talk to you about is the designation of officers. The board of directors will vote to determine which members will occupy the various offices that you will have for your organization. Now, there are many offices out there that can be filled, but 3 of the main offices that you want to make sure that you have when starting off are president or a board chair, secretary, and treasurer. Now, if you're like us and you're starting out with a limited number of board members, one member can occupy or fill more than one role. Such as my mom and I, we both had to have dual roles until you're able to have a more full board to where those various roles and offices can be designated out. And of course, when possible, it's best to do that so that, again, if you're going to be a grant funded organization, then it just comes off better when you do have those offices filled by various individuals versus having one person or 2 people holding so many roles. And the last thing that I want to talk about is the board members' financial responsibility. It is absolutely necessary and appropriate for you to talk to your board member about finances. Now, I bring this up because initially I thought that this was a kind of hands-off topic, talking to my board about finances, or more so them being responsible for helping to make sure that there were funds coming into the organization. Pretty much I thought the responsibility of that was on my mom and I, but the board members have, again, a fiduciary responsibility to make sure that the organization is financially healthy and viable, where each board member will provide different skills, resources, networks. Each board member should sign an agreement for the commitment that they will bring to the organization for making sure that there are funds being brought into the organization and making sure that it is financially healthy. You may have some board members that have the ability to commit more time to volunteering at your different fundraising events and serving at the various events that you may have. Or you may have some board members who may commit to donating a certain amount of funds to the organization. Or you may have some board members that may be able to provide access to other networks that will lead to funding. However, your board members may be able to show up for your organization so that it is able to thrive and so that it has the funds that are appropriate in order for you to be a functioning organization within your community. Because let's face it, who wants to be a struggling organization? And you may find yourself in situations like we found ourselves in, especially early on, where you're pulling from your personal finances on a regular basis to keep your organization afloat. And that's just not a sustainable way for your organization to function. So it is absolutely necessary and appropriate for you to talk to your board about funding, fundraisers, and their commitment to helping to make sure that there is a goal set for the year of what your organization wants to raise as a whole, and then what commitment of that each board member is going to play to ensuring that you're able to meet that goal. Whether it be volunteering their time, their resources, networks, funds, every bit that your board members are able to commit to making sure that your organization is running healthy and viably is vitally important. There is no one board member that is more important than the other. And I'd like for you to keep that in mind. So those are the 5 tips that I would like to share on this video as it pertains to board members. Now, again, there is so much more information to learn about board members. Information from how many board members should you have, where the suggestion I think is around 5 to 7, or what are the terms that your board members should serve? How do you run a board meeting? There is so much more information to learn around managing a cohesive board. And here are a couple of the things that, since I am still learning, because again, let me make it very clear. I have not gotten this thing figured out. I'm still learning new things every single day to help and make sure that our board is a functioning board, a cohesive board, and that we're all feeling comfortable that we're able to bring to the plate the best that we have to offer. And so here are a couple of things that we have decided to implement so that we can make sure that we are maintaining a cohesive board. One of those things is we are going to be starting a board orientation and training. I'm really looking forward to this, where we will be working with Faith Thomas of the dynamic duo couple, Faith and Michael of M&F Consulting. And we're also going to be looking into having a board retreat so that we have an opportunity just to connect and get to know each other. And I am looking forward to that as well. So again, I want to make sure that I bring valuable information to you guys whenever you come to the channel that will be helpful for you if you're just starting an organization, or maybe if you've been in operation but you need to do some things differently to make it better. So in the description box, I want you to find some information about the resources that I have been using so far to help make sure that our organization is up and running its best. And hey, I'd love to hear from you. Are you a new nonprofit? Are you a small nonprofit and you're trying to get things together? What are some of the experiences that you've had? Or maybe you're a large organization and you've got some tips that you like to drop in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you guys. And I'd also like to encourage you to like this video, subscribe, and share this information if you have found it helpful. And hey, I also want to encourage you, if you have not done so already today, I want you to stop, take a moment, find a reason to laugh, and keep smiling. Until next time, and always, stay blessed.